Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast.
So where are we? What are we going to? What are we getting to now?
So I got a couple more things. So there's this map. I have notes for that. So I guess I'll just read that shit. It's kind of long. And then I have also.
Sorry, I was wondering why Tesla was trending, and then I was thinking, like, what a douche making his own fucking stock symbol trend.
Well, tomorrow is 420, so that's his favorite date.
Yeah,
that he likes. So, well, you know, he's shooting that rocket.
Yeah, well, the last one exploded, so he's probably had to make some engineering.
No, but he's actually. They're planning on it. It's going to go up from Texas.
Yeah,
and it's going to go down off the coast of Hawaii.
Yeah,
yay!
But I was saying that other one.
And we'll try to pick up the big debris out of the ocean. What the actual fuck?
This was part of the plan. You'll never understand how brilliant he is and how he planned this all along to have it explode and reignite many of the volcanoes in the Ring of Fire.
You are silly.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, on to more news of the week. We've got Uncle Clarence Thomas's mama's cabin.
Uncle Mama's cabin.
Well, Uncle Clarence Thomas.
How old is he?
Not old enough to keel over and die, unfortunately, but we're getting close.
Rude.
Sorry. Wishful thinking. I want Trump to live so he can keep dragging the Republican Party down. I want Clarence to die so we can fill a seat. I mean, not that I'm necessarily wishing his death, but if something were unfortunate were to happen to him where he were to not survive, I wouldn't shed a tear. So after having been caught accepting lavish gifts and multiple millions of dollars worth of trips over the course of decades from right wing, that's probably more accurate.
That's also appropriate.
Well, I mean, in this particular case, right wing mega donor Harlan Crow, as well as the discovery that Crow purchased his mother's home and funded the creation of his wife's conservative think tank, which in turn paid her a yearly 6-figure salary. Because, this motherfucker can't stop doing shit. It has been recently discovered that Clarence Thomas's mother has been living rent-free in the home since the purchase in 2014. They put money directly into the pocket of the Thomas family. So apart from living free of charge in the home that Harlan now owns, he's also spent an unspecified thousands of dollars in renovations and upgrades. So yeah, we've been talking about this fucker for 2 weeks here? Like the drip, it's turning into a flood. Like what the fuck is going on here? He's hanging out with a Nazi memorabilia collector who's spending all this money flying him and his wife across the fucking country.
No, he's hanging out with a Nazi.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know how clearly we addressed this the last time we talked about it, but like there's only 2 scenarios in which under which it's acceptable to collect Nazi memorabilia. One is if you're a fucking museum, that speaks for itself. The other acceptable alternative to that is that you burn the Nazi shit.
Yeah, I was going to say if you killed some Nazis and took it off of them and were like headed towards a fire.
Yeah, there you go. But the only other possible alternative to those 2 scenarios, which I find to be acceptable, is the unacceptable scenario. You're a fucking Nazi.
I'm just wondering when Harlan had that conversation with Clarence Thomas, that he wanted him to dress up like Kunta Kinte and run through his Nazi garden. Because I'm pretty sure that's happened on more than one occasion. You know.
Does Clarence Thomas not know that Nazis hated black people too? I don't know.
Clarence Thomas hates black people, so it's all the possibilities.
But he's black too. Like,
exactly.
I mean, oh my God.
He hates black people. So there you go.
I mean, I'm not saying he's on the take necessarily, because obviously Clarence Thomas is one of the most right-wing Supreme Court justices we've ever had, and his views are probably pretty in line with Crow. Crow probably didn't even have to pay him, but it's insane that his mom is living rent-free in a property that Harlan. But wait, there's more. There is more. So, Thomas is reportedly planning to amend his financial disclosure forms to include the real estate transaction, an acknowledgement that he should have reported it in the first place. Thomas also reported on financial disclosure forms that his family earned up to, get this, $750,000 in rental income over the past couple of decades from a Nebraska real estate firm that went out of business 17 years ago. He's been reporting $50,000 to $100,000 of income from some shit that don't exist. Nigga, where they doing that at?
Apparently on the Supreme Court. That's where it's going down.
Excuse my French, Carol.
Going down.
I sometimes I forget that I'm in non-black company, and my Negro comes out. My Negroese.
I I zoned out for a second. So
that happens.
When I listen, I'm gonna be like, oh, D.
It's okay. You just keep being high, Carol.
He met Harlan Crow, and I'm from Texas, so Trammell Crow, the old guy, like his name's on everything in Dallas, like it's everything. So I'm not surprised by anything that he and his pedo sex trafficking brother
Jesus Christ.
have done.
I totally forgot about the fact that his brother is facing some kind of criminal sex trafficking charges.
Yeah, he funded a sex trafficking ring. Freaking sex trafficking ring.
Yep. So there you go. Your Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas hanging out with the groomers.
Hanging out with Nazis and groomers. Yeah,
and I look, we've undersold just how like wealthy and prominent the Crow family is. Like Texas real estate, correct? Yeah. So they've got their hands in a little bit of everything. They made a lot of fucking money, and rich Texans who didn't happen to like luck into wealth by striking oil, they probably did some dirty shit. And I'm just calling it like it is. No offense, Texas. You know how y'all kick it. Yeah, but it's just insane. Like, again, why is everything surrounding these people like the new fucking season of Ozark or something? It's insane. Like, this just seems Clarence Thomas, his financial disclosure statements, they look like money laundering to me, just plain and simple. Like there's no like one mistake is one thing, like two is a coincidence, but like, all right, we're like on the 8th fucking thing here. Here's a fucking pattern. I'm sorry. I'm irate about
Plus,
this.
I've never heard of, I mean, most laws you don't get to be like, wait. I committed a crime. Let me just go like,
and change it. Now it's all good.
Let me just go uncommit it. Yeah, I'm good. let me unlaunder that money real quick.
Okay, here's a question for you, Carol. He's a sitting Supreme Court justice, correct?
Yes.
These financial disclosure statements, to file them correctly, that means one should be able to accurately and fairly interpret the law, correct?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't understand how far back is he amending them? Like,
yes, Carol. Yes,
far
that's
back?
the answer. Yes.
Well, see, the thing is, for it was 10 years before Clarence Thomas ever said anything when he was on the court. Like, he was just there being paid.
Well, you see why he was shutting the fuck up. He was doing all this dirt. He was like, maybe
he was like, I'm sorry, I'm tired, y'all. I just got back from Indonesia. Like,
oh man.
I just
but
don't
it's
understand.
crazy.
I'll
Like
be here. Just go on without me. I'll be here.
I just don't know how he could make any argument that's like, what is he gonna say? Like, I didn't realize it was wrong. Bullshit. You're supposed to be one of the top jurists in the nation.
He's making decisions about interpreting the law that affects every person in this fucking country, but he can't.
And he's like, I didn't understand the thing, like the MPRE, which is that's an ethics test. All
my coworker said that I was good. You didn't already know that you weren't, motherfucker. Like, seriously?
What coworker? Name them.
Yeah. Oh well, I asked my colleagues, and they.
I mean, you joke about that, but like, seriously, like the Senate needs to hold a fucking hearing, if not an open investigation, and make him come in and testify on the record.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not joking. He has no way to be like, I didn't know any better, or like, this is clearly bad faith. You don't go back 10 years to be like, let me correct this stuff. No, fucker, you committed a crime.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I'm going to go. Oh, so now you know it was wrong, that you're going to amend it. Okay.
This reminds me of Jared Kushner fill out his security clearance forms correctly like 8 times. This is just like that. I mean, obviously something he seems to have faced no repercussions for. So sadly, maybe that's what will end up with Clarence Thomas here. But like, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, make sure you spend some time every day pitching a fit about Clarence Thomas. Like, if we keep up the public outrage, eventually we'll get to a point where someone in the Senate will take this shit fucking seriously and try and hold his ass accountable. Because
call your representatives and let them know how you feel about it.
Yeah, because I mean, there was a point in my life, in my lifetime, and I'm not even that old. I'm not even fucking 40 yet. Like, if this shit had happened to a Supreme Court justice when when I was 20, motherfuckers would have resigned. This is insane, and he's like, no shame.
Exactly, and there has been a Supreme Court justice. Do you know his name?
Off the top of my head, no.
Who resigned?
Yeah.
Yes.
Over a scandal, though?
Yeah.
When I was 20.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was when you were 20, but there was a.
No, I think it was in the 60s, maybe.
Yeah, I want to say, I think so, Derek.
Abe Fortas.
But you're right. I mean, even pedophile Roy Moore, when he was on the Supreme Court of Alabama, and he had his first scandal before his other scandal.
Yeah, where he was chasing kids, little girls around across the mall. Yeah.
Yeah. But he resigned.
Yes, 1969.
He resigned. I mean, there was
Abe Fortas.
At least.
Yes. And funny enough, he resigned over, some financial embarrassments during the Nixon administration because everyone was fucking criming. Yep.
Back when there was shame.
Yeah, people used
exactly. That when they were, and the party would hold, regardless of what they said or felt behind closed doors. Yeah, if there was some kind of public scandal and they're like, you're making, no, you gotta go.
They would hold each other accountable.
We don't need this right now. We got some shit going on and we don't need any scrutiny right now. Like we need to stay in the background. Like basically, what was it in?
Like, I wonder, like, what, John Roberts, what the fuck are you doing? Like, bro, this your court. Hold these motherfuckers responsible. You kissing their ass, no matter how much they fuck up. This is insane. And like,
I'm starting to think he's the Kevin McCarthy of fucking Supreme Court justice.
well, obviously he has no real power. Apparently,
yeah,
like his court is out of control. These motherfuckers are constantly out of control, destroying the law, committing.
His court is buck wild. They wildin'. They're like, what? Chief in name only. Like that's
yeah. You're absolutely right. It's just
and and there have been Judge Rehnquist. He would have definitely had a hold on things. I mean, there have been a lot of
Well, I feel like he would have chewed somebody's asses out at least. I mean, maybe not necessarily held them accountable publicly, but in private, like put them in fucking timeout or something.
Look as far back as the 60s when Thurgood Marshall was appointed, the first Black Supreme Court justice, and he didn't receive the kind of vitriol and hate that Ketanji Brown Jackson did.
That's because he's a man, Ty.
And he was confirmed by a decent margin. And this was back then. And of course, everyone who voted for him wasn't about social progressiveness or what have you. At least publicly, what have you.
No, the senators at the time, no.
But they still made decisions that moved this country forward. And that I appreciate. So when I see these fucking clowns and the shit that they're doing and how they're ruining all of our institutions and the disgraceful way that they behave, it's incredibly frustrating for me and sickening on so many levels to see, like, wow. And that's the difference. Like the civil rights movement, yeah, everybody didn't agree with it, or everybody wasn't, into integration or whatever, but they understood the need for the country to move forward. So the difference between then and now is at least then there was hope because there was a progression going on. Got Thurgood Marshall, you got the Civil Rights Act, you got the Voting Rights, you got all of these things that were happening, desegregation, etc. So
how are we moving backwards in 2023? It's insane.
Yeah, exactly. In 2023, we got people talking about lynching. We've got all of the things that are coming out, and it's like,
no, Ty, we don't have people talking about lynching. We have elected officials getting caught on tape, wishing to bring back the wonderful times where they could lynch Black people.
Why? We can't do that no more. They got more rights than us.
Carol, you still high?
Yeah, I'm just reading something. I'm sorry. No, I don't feel very stoned.
I was just giving you a difficult time. That's all. In good jest.
Yes, dear.
It was a funny aside considering we were talking about something so serious. Yeah, what you been up to, homie?
Yo, dear.
I've
been in the immediate past. I've been thinking about going down to the kitchen to get some peanut butter pie that someone made that my friend brought over on Friday.
Okay, that actually sounds
really good.
Is it just peanut butter in it?
It's has a graham cracker crust that was really like the right amount of crunchy and sweet. And it had.
You're making me hungry.
It was like a peanut butter mousse, I guess. Or it was like pretty rich. And then it had peanuts at the top. And they were crunchy and good. And there's more in my fridge. But it's all the way downstairs.
Actually,
I just grabbed a bag
delicious.
of potato chips. And they're fucking terrible.
Well, that's unfortunate.
They're awesome. I don't eat barbecue that much, but I didn't realize these were sweet mesquite barbecue.
If someone listening to this podcast is going to be like, well, that was an incredibly quick transition. They went from talking about the progression of like the United States culture as it pertains to civil rights to 2023, where you have a Supreme Court justice committing crimes with no shame, to like peanut butter pie. How'd that happen?
That's how we roll.
That's how we kick it on Pardon the Insurrection. Yep. That's how we do it. Yeah, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, Carol, because I got distracted, I'm trying to Postmates myself some dinner.
Well, hopefully if I get this job, I'll be able to buy chips that I actually like. But
how bad are those chips?
They're terrible.
What kind are they?
What brand is it?
They're Cape Cod kettle chips.
I ain't even.
But they're sweet barbecue.
I've never heard of kettle chips that are bad. So yeah, you made some poor life decisions.
If I was eating like ribs or chicken, it's fine. But on a chip, it's like when I go and I see and they're like, "Ooh, get these buffalo wing flavored chips." Why? Why would I want
Cape Cod is pretty solid. Look, so I went to
Yarb.
Innocence the other day, and they had like all these random flavored items at the counter that like this for $2.79. These dill pickle kettle chips, and they were excellent
for $2.79. That's pretty good price for that size bag.
That sounds pretty fucking great.
I mean, I go to the Mexican store to get like Takis and chips and drinks and stuff, but here, man, they're expensive. But I got like a big box and it had like salt and vinegar, these, and regular, like just plain. And I couldn't find any more plain. I thought Jeremy ate them all, so I grabbed these, but I'm gonna see if there's another bag because these are, I can't.
Yeah, they had strange stuff there. I mean, this was like right next to the register at Home Sense. So it was supposed to be like impulse buys, but it was all like really strange or experimental flavors of things. So I feel like it's what wasn't selling.
Yeah. That's what's up.
I got like these cornbread chips, which were good actually.
What? Cornbread chips?
Yeah, they were cornbread chips they were honey butter flavored.
I can't.
Tasted pretty good with soup.
I mean, I love cornbread because, I'm from the South, but I'm trying to wrap my head around cornbread.
I guess they were like cookie-ish chips. They were sweet. They weren't chips. I'm sorry. They were like more like biscuits, I guess. I don't know. I could go get them and show you. It was one of the things I bought the impulse snack purchase at the Home Sense aisle, like the checkout.
Interesting. All right, Shithole of the Week award time, kids. I hereby nominate one Ali Alexander, founder of the Stop the Steal movement. He's president of the Capitol on 1/6, probably likely part of the reason the insurrection happened in the first place. He was found he has recently apologized for soliciting pictures of young boys' penises. So, I mean, I feel like the groomers are everywhere and they're all on the side that was making all the noise. I'm just not even going to ask you to. I'm just going to assume there's unanimous consent. We hereby award you, Ali Alexander, with the Shithole of the Week award. You dirty groomer, fuck you.
Rhonda.
Okay, this is what we're going to do.
Rhonda.
Okay, come on. This Disney shit, this was warranted. Usually I'm being petty.
These are your closing thoughts.
This isn't this time.
No, I get it. And I'm not going to go visit the combination sad theme park prison that he wants to put up.
What? You mean you're not going to see
Come for the ride, stay because it's prison.
Come for the ride, stay for the jail. That's what I say. Yeah. No, he gets him and that fucking wife of his, but Ron DeSantis, he gets it from me. I'm sorry, I try to pick somebody different, but Ron, he just.
No, you go ahead. Like, just lay out in the Ron. Like, he's fucking up. His presidential campaign is dead in the water before he even got to announce. His approval rating sank. Trump recently got 60-something endorsements, from Republican officials. Guess how many DeSantis got? 3. His fucking donors are pulling out. They're backing out. He's doing all this shit in the middle of the night, signing all these fucking crazy bills. He's threatening Disney.
Yeah, did you see? Okay, I was just reading this before when you were just saying I was too stoned to pay attention, which I also was, but I was also reading Walt Disney, North Carolina lawmakers are trying to initiate a committee to entice Disney World to move to North Carolina, where they say there will be business-friendly practices and that they will not let ridiculous culture wars get in the way and embarrass their state.
Dude, DeSantis is going to lose Disney to fucking North Carolina. They bring in so much fucking money. It's insane.
Like
Cinderella's castle.
$73 billion
yeah.
a year.
It's wild.
70,000 employees.
Have fun in your swampland, people.
Disney is literally the reason Florida's economy is functioning. Because other than that, it's just a pit of money laundering and
Yeah,
drug
they know
money.
that they know
bunch
what
of
no state
gators.
income tax means, right? Sorry.
No.
The no state income tax thing. And I'm like, how do they have any infrastructure? And then like a condo will fall down. And I'm like, huh. I'm like,
Yeah, look, Fort Lauderdale, they're out of fucking, no, it flooded. DeSantis nowhere to be found. They can't, there's a fucking gas shortage across the state. Like, what the fuck is he even doing? What, the insurance
shout
rates
out
are
to the
doubling.
people of Fort Lauderdale. We love all of you.
I love how he's saying that
people.
they're going to investigate
I'm
Disney
sorry.
and inspect all of the rides as if fucking the Surfside condo collapse didn't fucking happen because there's no regulation.
Well, Disney's inspections are more rigorous than the state in general. So,
Thank you.
It's just totally asinine behavior.
Of the frickin' Surfside, damn 100 people died when they were sleeping in their condo and it fucking collapsed because Florida only mandates that you get a damn inspection every 40 fucking years.
Right.
And that's 40. 40 years.
Ty, I'm going to just let you hammer Ron DeSantis for your closing thoughts every week. Carol, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I threw mine in with Ty.
Way to try and wiggle out of providing some content for the podcast, Carol.
Okay. My closing thoughts are whenever I feel afraid. Hold on 1 second. I'm not having a panic attack. Everything is fine.
I don't know. I'm hot, but that's probably because my air conditioner doesn't work.
Yeah, I get hot at night too, but I have menopause, so shit happens.
I've been cold. Anyway, closing thoughts. Insert name of election that's coming up and make sure you vote in it for things. Great. Call your elected officials and demand an investigation into Clarence Thomas and an impeachment hearing or whatever it takes.
Yeah, what Carol said.
Yes.
Do that shit. Fuck Clarence Thomas.
Do that.
I heard my husband doing it and I was like, yeah, that's a nice
You heard your husband doing it?
Damn, that's
Is
hot.
Is that when you guys made another baby or what?
I was gonna say that turned me on.
2 days ago, but
That turned me on.
Listen to the way he's talking to Chuck Schumer's assistant. Yeah.
Well, they won't be able to say my name in Florida after hearing that about your husband because that made me hot. As for my closing thoughts, so initially I was going to talk about the shooting, the unfortunate shooting in Kansas City.
Which one? I'm serious though. Sorry, go on.
Well, when you put it that way, the young 16-year-old black child who happened to be looking for his siblings, but rung the doorbell of the wrong house, who was shot in the forehead. That was unfortunate. I was initially going to address that in my closing thoughts, but then what happened is there was unearthed a recording of some racist officials talking about the days of lynching and how they wish they could bring that back, and threats of killing journalists and talk of how like black people have more rights than they do now because they can't hang us. I was going to address that then in my closing thoughts. But what had happened was earlier today, my home state of Tennessee, they never failed to let us down. If you don't remember, there was a school shooting here a couple of weeks ago, where a number of children and a couple of adults, were killed at the school. And there's been plenty of outrage and backlash since then, resulting in the Republican members of Congress expelling, the two of the Tennessee 3 here. Even though they got their seats back, I mean, that was still a travesty. That was one of their responses to a shooting at a school. Expel members of the state legislature who were standing up for the fucking kids who don't want to be murdered at their fucking school. Like, what a travesty. How dare they? But if that wasn't enough, earlier today, those same Republicans passed a bill in Tennessee to address gun violence in school by, guess what? You'll never guess. They passed a bill to protect gun manufacturers from liabilities from the shootings that happened here in the state of Tennessee. Fuck these fucking people. I'm going to spend the rest of my life fucking these people up. I swear to God.
I'm with you.
And that concludes this episode of Pardon the Insurrection.